FM.
Welcome to Do Good Work Podcast, hosted by Terrell Strayhorn and Jaquin Johnson. We specialize in taking a deep dive into issues that truly matter. Each episode unpacks the challenges and opportunities facing today's leaders, from classrooms to boardrooms, offering insights that inspire real change. By redefining success, we're changing lives, empowering people everywhere to create environments where everyone feels a sense of belonging, whether at home, work, or school. So hey, sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we explore the issues shaping our futures, one meaningful conversation at a time. Let's go!
Welcome to everyone. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you. Well, I can't see you, but I can imagine you're there. I'm your co-host, Terrell Strayhorn, joined in the studio by my co-host and our guest for tonight. Co-host, kick it over.
Jaquin Johnson. Good to see you all. And today we have a special guest, Donovan Campbell, who is a Caribbean-born, Canada-based gospel artist, songwriter, and life coach. He has also written 2 music books. Welcome, Donovan.
Hey, thank you for having me on your program. Happy to
Absolutely.
be here to share my stories with you and your audience.
Let's kick it off, Terrell. So, using the first letter of your last name, how we always do it, describe your day or week. S.
I am an S. So I am going to go with, I thought about this earlier. I said I was going to use sunburned because I've been tanned, but I'm looking at myself on the screen. I don't really look that tan because I've been trying to stay away from the sun. The sun will just kiss you if you don't, without permission. So it's been great. I am in the middle of the ocean. I don't know if y'all can see this. That's my view.
Beautiful.
Boat, middle of the ocean on a cruise, and but I couldn't possibly let that stop me from connecting with our wonderful people and Do Good Work Land. All the folks out there committed to doing good work. Sometimes you got to take it on the boat. So anyway, I was gonna say sunburn. I better stick with that one because I might need another S word next week. So sunny, sunburn, something like that. What about yourself?
I like it. I was speaking to you earlier about I've entered a 7-day activity competition on my Apple Watch. So I would say juiced because from I think 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. I've been outside running, trying to close all my rings, and I accomplished that. So I would say I'm pretty juiced because it was hard, but got it done. Donovan C.
For me, I would say definitely my week has been a creative one. And yeah, there are some things that I was able to get done that I didn't have on my to-do list, but inspiration came to me while I was taking my nature walk, and I just flow with the inspiration and create as the inspiration comes. So it has been a creative week for me, which I do enjoy being creative, because I easily inspired. So yeah.
I like that. I think that for me as well, I've realized I need to do a lot more things outside, walking, running, because it just for some reason being outside allows you to think and about the work that you're doing and create new ideas. Just new ideas come that just flow from that walk or run. So something I'm, hopefully I say that now, but then a week goes by and then I won't do it. But just know that I'm trying. So that's really good. I know Terrell said that he is you. What do you say? You're solar powered, so you need to be
Yeah,
kissed by the
solar
sun.
powered, kissed by the sun. I'm trying to tell you, the sun is. I mean, if you go to certain parts of the world, I don't know, for the sake of the conversation, and Donovan, you had to tell us what part of Canada you're in. I was just in Montreal, but there's just certain parts of the world you go, especially in the Caribbean, where the sun is blazing. It's always out. It's a little closer, depending on where you are in the world, and so you can feel it. I mean, people go there obviously for vacation times. They want to be in the sun, but you cannot stay out there for any period of time before you start turning red and brown and all sorts of colors. And so I went out one color. I went on the trip one color. I'm going back a different one. Yeah, but solar powered. I do enjoy the sun. It does power me. Where are you in Canada, Donovan?
Okay, so I'm in Brampton, Ontario. Yeah, that's that's like probably about 30 minutes away from Toronto. So it's
Okay.
just next door. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I think there's just a lot going on in the world, which we talk about every week in the show. But spending time in Montreal, first of all, it was summer. It's my first time being in Canada during the summer. I didn't realize most time we go, we have a conference. One of the conferences that takes us to Canada is the Association for the Study of Higher Education. I think they've been in places like Vancouver and maybe Toronto. I'm not sure because it's got to be a certain size city to accommodate the conference. But um, summer in Canada, or at least Montreal, is pretty lovely. What is it like weather-wise over in Toronto?
Ah, today weather just remind me of the Caribbean. This it's on the hot side, but not super hot. Yeah, and we got some breeze, so it just reminded me of the Caribbean where I'm from.
Yeah. I was going to ask you to tell us the temperature, but I bet you're going to tell us the temperature in Celsius, and I won't know what you're talking about because people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's almost 40 degrees." I was like, "It's going to be freezing," but they meant Celsius, which is a million degrees in Fahrenheit.
No, it's on the positive side. That's all I can say. Once it's on the positive
Okay.
side, I'm good.
Well,
But
if it's on
once
the
it go into the minus,
yeah,
anything below 1, I don't like it because it's on the minus side. But once on the
yeah.
positive side, I'm good.
Does Toronto see negative temperatures?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. When like I would say mostly in January, February, March, you see minus weather. And when you go minus weather, that's the time you don't really want to be outside because you I mean you stand up outside and even feel frozen because it's in the minus side. Um yeah, you can put even a buckle of water out there, and I can guarantee you within 10 minutes time that water start to turn ice.
Yeah, so I won't
Because
be there in January through what February. Yeah, no, I can't do it. March.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah, January, February, March, those times you see minus weather.
I can't even do 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So I know I won't make it out there.
We could find a summer conference, Jaquin. That's what we'll do. Find a summer conference
Only
in
in the
Toronto.
summer. If they can accept it, I'm going to decline it. So
Yeah.
that's that's great. Well, we're delighted to have you, and we've heard a little bit about your background. We'll hear a little bit more later. But one of the things we've been spending a lot of time thinking about is there are lots of folks who watch our podcast, listen to the podcast, who use the podcast in different ways, and some of these people are impacted. This is the other point I was going to make. I was really impressed when I was in Montreal about the number of Canadians who are very up to date on some of the politics and what's happening in the United States. They're very, you know, knowledgeable about our uh, the actions of our president, the actions of our administration. I mean, obviously so, because we got some challenges there right now, even between our countries. But I just thought that was really impressive. Most of the people who I talked with in Montreal were also talking about the number of Americans, of those in the U.S. who are, being impacted by some of these more recent political decisions. And we spend a lot of time on this show talking about people's hunt for job opportunities and employment. And I know Jaquin, sort of queued you up here. So, what advice would you give, Donovan, to someone who's looking to make their way in the music industry? Those creative souls out there who are really interested in like getting into songwriting and music and education, the things you do. Any advice about how they can get started, and things that really work well for you?
Thanks for asking that question. I would say they started already from childhood stage. And the reason why I say that is because everyone is a songwriter in their own way. Because what is a song? A song is storytelling, and it is consists of words. And from childhood, we have been saying words. We have been writing words. We have been texting words. We have been using words in many ways. So we have been we automatically is a songwriter. The thing is this, for me as a songwriting educator, and this is the reason why I also did my second music book, is that when it comes down to writing a complete song, you have to think about what is the story you want to tell. After you identify what story you want to tell, the next thing would be what structure. What structure you're going to use. My second music book that I created, I share 11 different songwriting structures in there. So it all goes back to a structure. The next thing, the third, would be every song is written from a season. Just like what we were talking about summer and winter, every song is written from a season. So based on me personally, when these are the things that I do personally, and when I'm writing a song, I just released a song few days ago that I recorded, and that song that I have written and recorded, it came from a winter season, because in winter time there's nothing for you to be laughing about, especially when it is in the crazy minus and snowstorm places. It's all about the pain, the struggles that you have to face within that time. So I written that song, sharing my story from that angle. So these are the things that I keep in mind, and I also educate persons about when it comes on to writing a full song. And currently, just sharing with you for the first time, I haven't shared it on my social media pages as yet. But as I was saying, this week has been a creative week for me. I did a songwriting creativity series that I released 7 different videos on my YouTube page, Coach Donovan DC page. I haven't started promoted on my other social media pages yet. So your program is the first I'm sharing this on 7 different videos regarding to songwriting creativity. What I have said to you earlier and more things I have shared within those 7 different videos. So I have to share my secret. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jaquin.
Yeah, I love it. So you said that there are 11 structures to writing a song. Tell us a few of them.
All right, let me get my book first. Quickly grab my book. So this is the book right here. Uh, so I call it exploring 10 plus songwriting structures. So when persons go to my YouTube page, they will see me making some reference from the book and so forth.
Mhm.
So what inspired me, because this is my second music book that I published, I think March since year. My first music book I published in 2022. Um, what led me to do the first music book, I was just sharing my journey, writing music for over 20 years and so forth. And this book, what led me to create this book is that I discovered that 99.9%, 99.9% of musician from every genre of music out there in the world, they mostly use four structures to create their song. Every genre of music out there. And if there should be a new genre right now or tomorrow or in the future, I can guarantee you they're going to stick to those four structures. And I discovered that there are more structures. So that's what led me to create this music book, and I talk about the four structures in this book, and I have shared other structures into the book. So I will share, and I'd also create a online course regarding to these four structures. I call them the four twins songwriting structures. Um, my website have more information, which we can talk about later on down into the interview. But definitely, uh, one of the structure is that it is very common. I will share with you. I will share. I call them twin brothers and twin sisters because they are alike. So I'm going to share one of the twin brothers and one of the twin sisters with you. So, for example, I would say twin brothers. You have the chorus, then you have the first verse, then chorus, then the second verse, then chorus, then the third verse, then the chorus. That's one structure. And that's one of the twin brothers. One of the twin sisters is that you have the verse, the chorus, then the verse, then the chorus, then the third verse, then chorus. The difference between these structures is that one start with chorus first. The other structure start with verse. And the procedure follow straight down. So the difference is for the structure. And and in my music book I said that all songs don't start the same and all songs don't end the same. So it all goes back to which structure that that person want to use to create this song. And I would say too is that you have a mini songs, you have mini song, and you have a full song. And during like Christmas season time, this is where uh, songwriting in all of its aspect is explored. Because in Christmas season time, you have a lot of advertisements and so forth. And those advertisements, some may go full song and some mini song. For me, what I call a mini song is anything that is less than 2 minutes. So it can be chorus and a verse and that's it. Or it can be a verse and a chorus and that's it. And this is the angle where a lot of corporation, business, you name it, they tap into the mini songs to do their promotion for their business or organization, whatever it may be. I know I said a lot right there.
That was good. I think that I haven't heard one gospel song that's a mini song. So and they are
Yeah.
roughly like 5 or 6 minutes. Some will go to 10 if you take them to church. But
Honestly, what I've discovered, like back into I would say back into uh, the 50s and 60s, probably 70s too. I've came across where I've listened to cassette tapes of an artist doing a song that is less than 2 minutes. Yeah, so I call it a mini.
I love that. Terrell, you got anything?
Yeah, that was great. As a musician, I just found myself sort of learning too from that. So thanks for sharing those teachings with us. I think, clearly when we bring folks on the show, one of our pretty much our only requirement is that these are folks who are doing good work, making an impact in the world in their own way, in their own lane. So tell us a bit more. How did you come to do what you do? How did you get into music and songwriting and bringing them all together, even with education in the way that you do, in your own way, Donovan?
That's a very good question. To be honest with you and your audience, I didn't see myself as a songwriter. I didn't see myself as a gospel music artist. Definitely, I didn't see myself as an author of 3 books. And my wife want me and her to do a fourth book together. I didn't see myself doing that. Honestly, when I start this whole songwriting journey, I just became a Christian, and being a Christian in high school, I mean the temptations real, the struggles real. I mean, I'm a guy. I love to have a lot of girls, from all walks of life. And being a Christian, I can't do that. And being into a classroom where most of my classmates are females, and the females, some of the females will really test me and say, how a cute boy like you say you are Christian, and so much sweet girls in the classroom and all of these things. Are you sure you are okay? Are you afraid of women? And I'm like, these are the questions I have to I have to deal with, and going to high school. So I mean, one and two of my female classmates even sit in my lap, you know, trying to see that definitely if I'm going to have an erection, because if I have an erection, that means I'm real. I'm is what I mean. And these things was very irritating to me. It is very uncomfortable. So being a person trying to be positive and know how to deal with situation in positive ways, I tend to just write my feelings on paper and pray to God. And that's where the whole writing start from me, writing my feelings onto paper and praying to God. And one of my cousin who's more musically inclined, you know, he said that, you're writing and you love to write and so forth. I'm going to show you how to put those words into a song structure. And when I started, I I just didn't know how to write a song. I didn't know how to write a verse. I didn't know how to write a chorus. I didn't know how to do nothing. But my cousin mentored me and showed me certain things. And from then, this year with 25 years, I've been writing songs. And it just amazed me to see how I have developed and I have grown um, with this writing gift, you know, and how, how I have grown even vocally going to the studio, because I've been writing songs when I was at my 15 years writing music. That's when I went to the recording studio to start recording my own songs. 15 years I've been writing songs. I've never, when it reached the 15 years. So this year will be 25 years I'm writing songs, and this year will be 10 years I've been recording my own original songs. So imagine, I have 15 years worth of song that I've never recorded before, because songwriting becomes so natural and easy for me because of these experiences over the years. And these are the things that I share within my music book, and the seven different videos that I shared on YouTube, that I'm letting your audience know that I promote those videos this week, so they're available.
That's awesome. I think that, check him out. All the videos that he's sharing. So you said that your cousin kind of helped you hone your skill in writing songs, and
Mhm.
I'm imagining that there were some challenges along the way. Could you share some of those challenges that you faced and the lessons learned along the way?
Oh, definitely, definitely. There were challenges on the journey. Um, because um, one of the challenges that, as I said before, for 15 years I've been writing songs, and one of the things that I believe that helped push me to the music studio is that I have written a song for one of my church sister. I written a song for her. I pay for studio time. I pay a person to build the beat and all of that. And my voice is not on that record, none at all. I pay the money for everything. Have gotten backup singers and everything. And that's one of the things that helped to boost me to move, because I'm a backstage person. I used to be a backstage person. I easily identify person's talents and ability to do things, and I cheer them on. But for me, I always like, no, that's not me. So that song that I written for that church sister, it helped inspire me to say, you know what, you have been writing songs for 15 years. You need to go into the studio, identify your voice, find how you flow, and create your own lane and be authentic sharing your story. So that was one of my definitely challenge, move away from the backstage to come to the front stage. And definitely being on the front stage is like, wow. I mean, just amazing, going to different places and all of these things. Yeah, it's amazing. And I would
Wow.
add to that too, Jay, is that now I can say this with humility and gratefulness. And I would say this, that I was the one who was holding back myself from progress. And it's just the reality. Um I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of persons think that there are other persons that is stopping their progress, when the way they are the one who is stopping their own progress. It's not someone else or person else, because I was in that position too.
I like that. I think, Terrell, I want to talk a little about the humility. Something we see a lot in our work is that there are some folks who want to be front and center early on without really taking the time to hone their skills in writing and finding their identity and their voice, or what they want to study, and why they are choosing to study that topic. And you said that you took what, roughly 15 years before you step foot into the limelight. I think that's something that's pretty powerful, to say out loud and to reflect and see that for yourself. I too can resonate with that because you can want to be a writer, you can want to talk about certain things, but it's important to have humility and not think just because you've written one song, one journal article, one blog, and think that you're ready for the limelight. Sometimes you have to continue to hone those skills and learn from others, whether it's your cousin, a mentor, or a friend, before you can take that center stage.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you
Yeah, I would agree too. I think
because I do is that I always,
no,
yeah,
go ahead. Please
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, one of the things that I always do is that I always just keep humble where, each time I'm using my talents and so forth, I give God thanks and I pray and I just ask him for him to to help me to be fruitful and to multiply with these talents that he have given unto me. And yeah, I'm just humbled because, as I said before, I used to be a backstage person. Yeah.
I think, well, I know, um, I probably can speak for, we have not tested this, but I hope I can speak for Jaquin and I in saying that we certainly appreciate your vulnerability and sharing that positionality, right? Like so many people um, aren't willing to be the backstage person. That before you can be front stage, there's a backstage and there's preparation. You know,
Yeah.
how do you say
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
There's a certain kind of preparation that
Yeah.
that takes place in the backstage that gets you ready
Mm.
for the front stage. And no one signs up for the backstage. People sign up for the front stage. That's what they want to do. They want to hurry up and get there. But um, there's just a strength that comes from silence. There is a level of invincibility that comes from invisibility. There's a level of um, just greatness that comes from you know the support role. You learn, and by the way, and I know you can speak to this. All three of us can speak to this. That the consequences of missing the mark are far more manageable before your prime time. You can learn,
Mm.
you can ask questions, you can hone your craft, you can mimic
Hmm.
others, and figure out who you really are. I was just on a panel earlier, believe it or not, today, even on the ocean, and I was sharing with people that as a speaker, when I first started speaking, I mimicked people who were great speakers, and because I knew they were great orators, I tried to sound like them. I put, the emphasis on the words like them. I studied them. And, there's a level to understudy that is appropriate. But at some point, you are
Hmm.
not authentically yourself. You've become a
Yeah.
performer, you've become a
Mm.
show and a showman. And that's not, I, as a man of faith, as men of faith, I think we can all agree that, you know, um, God doesn't anoint echoes. He doesn't anoint copies. He anointed each and every one of us with the gifts that we have to do good work, just the way we are. Now we've got to have the courage to be ourselves and like you said, move through the preparation backstage and front stage, wherever it's going to be. But um, I realized at some point I was so busy trying to perfect the sound of someone else's voice, that I actually lost my own. And it took time for me to get that back and figure out that I have something to say, but I got to say it myself. I'll shut up by saying, I realized that, you know, the world doesn't need another of whoever I was mimicking. What the world needed was
Yeah.
me. And I was
Yeah.
preparing for whatever little work I was going to do. Same for everyone in our audience. You just got to be authentic, be yourself, and realize that whatever your gifts and talents are, they're going to make a difference for the
Yeah.
world. That's what I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I agree with you, because the reality is that no one can share your story for you better than you, and your voice is your voice. No one don't sound like you. Yeah.
I mean,
So
before Jaquin jumps in, I know you just said it though, Dominic. You said no one can sound like you. So I'm just curious. Hmm. Can our audience hear anything what you sound like? Is there a go-to song for you? Like if you just had to sing in a minute, in a second, sing 30 seconds of something, what's that song for you?
it will be definitely a million thanks, a million thanks, a million thanks, and more. A million thanks, a million thanks, a million thanks for sure. A million thanks for the things you done, Lord. A million thanks, a million thanks, some more.
I couldn't
Yeah.
move fast enough to the audio. Thank you. Thank you. A million thanks. All right, Jaquin.
So is that one of your songs?
Yeah, yeah, that's one of my original song that is it is on my YouTube page, and it is all digital music store. Yeah, Million Thanks by Brother
So
DC.
tell us more about where that song kind of came from and what inspired you. I know that I can
Ooh,
go on and on about all the things God has done for me, and there are
ooh.
more than a million. But I want to hear
Mm.
from tell us your story about where that song came from.
That song came to me while I was uh in an airplane on my way from Canada to Jamaica. Um it was my first time traveling with my wife, um going on vacation together. And my wife was sitting next to me with her head on my shoulder, you know in the sleeping world. And and I felt so good, and the inspiration just came to me right there in the aeroplane, um going to Jamaica, you know, and that's where that song started. And yeah, I shared the idea with one of my friend, and I do a collaboration with him. And so I am the official writer of the song, but also, I take him on the track and just let it be both of us do the track. But that's where the inspiration came from, in the airplane, just in my life. And I just say, just a million thanks and more. So, yeah.
Yes, I love that. And is that on Spotify, YouTube? Where could you find that song?
Yeah, 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 definitely. A million thanks by Brother DC on YouTube, and you can search the same thing on other music platform too. A million thanks by Brother DC.
Awesome. I'm gonna add that to my list now. So when I do some writing, that's what I'll play. Terrell, so the next time we write together, you're gonna hear that song on repeat.
Good deal. Let's add it to the playlist. We got some regulars, some oldies but goodies that we put on our list. But it makes me think about, everyone won't be a songwriter, everyone won't be an educator, everyone won't be um, academic in our listening audience, but everyone's doing something. Everyone's working on a project in life,
Yeah.
whether it's a community garden, cleaning up the
Mhm.
house, redoing the living room, getting a new job, whatever it might be. So I know we appreciate your mention of inspiration as the source. So Jaquin, thinking, building on what Donovan's give us, I mean, what are some of your inspirations? You were talking this week about, I don't know, yesterday we were talking about something we wanted to write together. I guess what's the
Well,
inspiration,
keep
or what
keep
was the
keep
source of
keep keep the
inspiration for that?
topics to just between you and I want to get to them first. I think for
Yeah,
me,
absolutely.
what's inspired me in the work is like really. Actually, I was thinking about this today on my during one of my runs. Is like just student success. And you said it, not me, so I'm giving you credit, is that a lot of times we stay on the shallow end when we talk about certain things. And I think I said something to you about signs, and you're like, "Mm, okay, we got it, but can we go deeper? What do signs really do? How does that boost belonging?" And it made me think, right? So I think right now what inspires me, what grounds me, is trying to find ways to, of course, boost and build belonging, but also, at the same token, making sure students succeed and ultimately graduate. It doesn't matter if I know the student or don't know the student. Maybe if I see them in the future or not see them, it, regardless, if you are someone who is 87, want to go back to school, or 15 going to dual enrollment, or a traditional student or an adult learner, doesn't matter. If you want to go back to school, whether that's certificates, non-degree program, or traditional 4 year or 2 year associate's degree, finding ways to ensure that people like you, your identity, uh, can succeed in those environments in higher education.
Yeah, it matters. I think when you mentioned shallow end of the pool, when I was texting yesterday and we were having a good discussion, I think, obviously on this cruise ship, uh, very obvious inspiration for my comment was I was sitting on the deck looking down at the pool and watching people, crowd out the shallow end of the pool. Literally, everybody wants to be in the pool. And this is not unlike what you were saying earlier, Donovan, about backstage, front stage. Lots of people want to get in the pool, but they stay in the shallow end of the water. And, because even in the shallow end of the water, inexperienced swimmers can be there. People who are short and vertically challenged can be there. But if you watch, far fewer people ever get to the deeper end of the water, go into the depth of the water. And I think this is not just about pools. I think it has to do with, life, that people want to stay in the comfort zone, and they don't want their life, their music, their teachers, their therapists to push them out into the deep, to really have to
Mm,
confront some of the things
mm,
that um, no doubt would give their life even probably deeper meaning, deeper joy. Like I said earlier, I was on this panel where it's a group of people who are all, in their various ways, church leaders, preachers, and um, the guy asked about how did we come to understand our sort of calling. And I tell the story of this dream I used to have as a kid of this person, this presence chasing me. My mom, folks who are, by the way, there are like 6 people on this boat who are watching this podcast right now, because I met them and I told them that we were going to go down to something, a show or something. I was like, well, I have to go podcast. And they're like, wait, you have a podcast? So whatever. Shout out to all of them who are watching. But yeah,
Hello.
so, you know, right. Say hello to all of them. I can tell you their names, but I won't because I didn't get permission. Um, but my point
Please
is,
and
I
thank
was
you.
telling the story about how, um, as a kid growing up, I remember being, I'm just going to say it this way because it's the way I felt it, sort of haunted by this dream of this guy chasing me, this man chasing me all the time. I wake up and tell my parents he was in my dream, chasing me. Started talking to my pastor about it, and eventually my pastor asked me, like, so why are you afraid? I don't know. That was the answer. Why are you running away from him? I don't know. What does he want? I don't know. I never engage the guy. I just see him and I start taking off running. And, all night long, I'm just running away from this figure. So one day, long story shorter, my pastor encouraged me and prayed with me that I would turn around and confront the man, talk to the person, see what they wanted. And that was that collision that led to ultimately, in my church experience, me answering the call to ministry. But in so many walks of life, it's been a lesson, that quite often we will run from things, opportunities, challenges, assignments, and we don't even know why we're running. It's just our natural sort of inclination is flight. Oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. Oh my gosh, I don't want to, work in this area. Oh my gosh, this seems hard. I think the pickup is maybe for whoever needs to hear it, turn around and stop running from it. That, whether it's an opportunity to move from backstage to front stage, or an opportunity to use your craft and your skill in a new and different way, an opportunity to rebrand and reimagine your future. I think so much of what we do in this quest for doing good work, we think it has to be a certain way. And for me, doing good work is a lot of different things that all come together in their own unique way. So I don't know, the inspiration comes from the desire to have like impact, positive impact. You said it, Jaquin. Student success, yes, but even in work settings, it's like, I'm motivated to help people have a better life, have a better world, and we're all doing that kind of work, which gets me back to you, Donovan. You as a musician, songwriter, educator, husband, all of that, likely spend a lot of time consuming information. So I guess, what's something that you've read, heard, or even watched recently that has had an impact on you personally, professionally, or otherwise?
Um, that's a very good question, and there's a lot of answer I could give to that question. But definitely, I will go back to Genesis. The greatest book, the Bible. Um, I'll go back to Genesis. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. Uh, I've been very intentional about this chapter, but this particular verse where God told Adam and Eve, first conversation God have had with them. He said to both of them, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, have dominions, and all of these things. This authority was given unto both of them. I would say both individually and as a couple. Uh, from last year to now, moving forward, when I read that verse, I came up with this. I'm a guy of quotes. I love to create quotes, and I love to pick out quotes from persons' conversation. And the quote that I've came up with from this um, Bible verse, James chapter 1. I'm not James, Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. The quote that I create is that be the person first internally to become the person to do the things outward secondly. So it all goes back to that mindset. It all goes back to that belief. It all goes back to that confidence, that boldness. be the person first. So I have to, so me being a songwriter, when I discover that, hey, I can write a song, I be a songwriter and be intentional about it. So I was a songwriter before I even knew I was a songwriter. But once I discovered that, hey, I can do this thing, I be intentional about it. And I move from paper to recording studio, to to record songs, to share outward to people worldwide. And from writing songs and going to the music studio to record song, I be intentional about it to become a performer. So now these things are happening outward, but it all goes back to that mindset of being the person first, then become the person to do the things secondly outward. I know that is a deep statement I just said a while ago. Yeah.
That's awesome. Jaquin, anything that you've read, seen, or heard recently that's sort of made you go, hmm?
Yeah, I think the what I've communicated with you earlier this week is like I'm reading a report called, I think it's Reimagining Student Success, and it's running through from admissions all the way to, beyond the classroom. Some of the case studies have been insightful and has this, had me thinking about what are other groups that we could be talking about, and how can we go deeper into ways to meet students' needs. So, I'm actually three-fourths of the way through the report. Hopefully finish it today. And then I've been taking notes as I've been reading, to really figure out, like, yes, it's important to create meaningful connections with faculty, staff, and peers to ensure that students have their basic needs met, such as food and housing, affordable housing, and so forth. But what policies and practices and programs are in place to ensure that students have those things, right? So really talking about things that are um, innovative, creative, but also understanding that there are programs already on our campus that we can just add to. It doesn't have to. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. So again, I can go on and on about that topic, but I'm a pause there.
I digress. Yeah. So, I mean, I would agree. I mean, I started skimming a little bit of that because you were talking about it this week, but the book I've been trying to get through and have made quite a bit of dent into this week is it's called Pivot or Die. Don't remember the name of the author right now, but I'll have it for the next show. And it's really about companies that are forced to pivot, that is to reimagine themselves, to change in order to survive. And there's certain existential threats that they might face, whether it be something happening in the economy or some new competitor or something happens in the marketing and the pricing sort of space where now they're no longer considered a you know reasonable price for customers. But anyway, companies that are faced with these sort of threats and they have to make the decision to pivot, become something different, add on new services, not like a whole reimagining all the time, but it's a lot of really solid, I think, lessons, not just for business, for life, that's keeping me moving page through that book. All right, Jaquin, you got the last one.
Last but not least, would you rather? This is a game that people play. I played it once. Would you rather spend your days building systems that outlive you, or telling stories that shift hearts and minds right now, and why?
Ah, definitely telling stories, because telling stories, sharing certain stories are powerful. And even right now, as I said before, being an author of 3 books so far and all of that is just me sharing my knowledge and my experiences and my skill, telling stories educationally to inspire people, to motivate people, and to educate people. And yeah, and that's from the author perspective, and even being a recording um music artist, uh me going to different places to perform my own songs is telling my own stories musically. So and people are being blessed by me sharing these musical stories and being an author of books. So definitely, yeah, stories. I'll go with that one.
Stories. All right, Terrell, what you got?
Great question. Um, it's gonna be a hard one for me. It's gonna probably be something in the middle. I mean, I'm definitely one who believes that I want to do work, that I want to do good work that shifts hearts and minds, and certainly see the need for it in today's time, where I think some of the challenges that we face, whether it's nationally, internationally, or all around, social difference and misunderstanding of groups, and if we can do things to shift people's mindsets and their hearts and their beliefs about each other, about groups, then I think we can improve the harmony of society. But I think that so much of what we need is not just for today. We're going to need this in 5 years. We're going to need it in 10 years. So some of these things that we're doing have to outlast the moment. And I think this is what's really driving a lot of the work we do in the business is we could do things right in one school or one classroom today, and we do a lot of that. But how do we also make sure that in 2 years, um, there's been that incremental progress has been scaled to where maybe that classroom activity improves that classroom, but in 2 years, that school, that district, that neighborhood, um, and it's sustained so that whatever happens to improve the people's belonging in fifth grade, there's some you know impact of it still by the 10th grade. So I think it's a mix for me of things that will shift hearts in the moment, but also some durability and sustainability to it. What about yourself, Jaquin? Take us out.
Yeah, I'm not copying you. I already have my answer set, but I'm not gonna pick. I don't think I'm gonna pick either one. Because I believe that you have to understand the assignment that you're called to do. There are some things that you need to tell a story that does shift hearts and minds in that moment because that's what people need in the room. But there's also things that you and I have worked on. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was something with APA format. I remember us writing and we said in as we're typing it out, like use APA 7th edition. And we both paused like, wait, this will outdate itself in no time. So let's say like the most current APA edition, right? So I think that there are things that we must be mindful of to ensure it outdates, or what is it? Systems that outlives me. I hope I write something that will outlive me, but I also know it comes with that territory, right? It can outlive you, but people are going to pull that work and critique it and refine it and debunk it, and that's okay. I think that that's part of the work that I would want to be a part of, where people are still pulling and drawing from the work, our work, uh, and using it to create something new or build upon it. But I also want to be a person who lives in the moment and fine tune telling stories that connects to the audience, that connects to the work that we do.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know how else you would want to end the show than to hear about that. But listen, to all of you out there who are listening to the show, who will watch the show later, the question becomes, what do you want to do? Are you interested in doing work, shifting hearts and minds now in the moment? Or are you trying to do work that's going to be sort of, that will outlive you? It's got some sustainability and durability to it. Listen, we are so thankful to you, Donovan Campbell, for being a part of our show tonight, for sharing not only your passion for music and songwriting and creativity, but even letting us hear a million thanks live in the studio. So if you have not already, go to YouTube, visit Donovan's channel, subscribe, rush over. When you're done with that, go over to Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you get your music from, and check out his music. And then if you have not had enough to do, then go back over to Spotify, jump to the Do Good Work podcast, 5 stars, leave us a review, and be sure to join us next Saturday, same time, same channel, for Do Good Work. Listen, if you're going to go out here and do something, y'all know how we say it, do something good. Do good work. Peace.
Do Good Work Podcast. We hope you found today's conversation informative, uplifting, and insightful. Don't forget to like and share this episode with your networks. Follow us on social media at Do Good Work on X, formerly Twitter, for real-time updates, behind-the-scenes content, and so much more. Until next time, friends, don't be afraid to do something, but do something good. Do good work.